All right. Hey, my name is Abi Syed. I'm one of the founders of Cotera. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be walking through a comprehensive CRM benchmarking test. So what is this? I've made one of these videos before, but what we at Cotera are trying to do is show you how different LLMs and different models that are coming out perform when it comes to real world activities. There's so many things out there where basically what they're doing is testing things that, while they're interesting, are not actually that useful. Like, it doesn't really matter whether the LLM, like to you at least, whether the LLM can pass the LSATs, like, or whether it can draw like a pelican on a bicycle. Those things are interesting, but you are hopefully out there using LLMs for your real world activities, right? Scheduling a meeting, updating your CRM, all the stuff that you really don't want to do. So what we're going to be doing is we're starting off today with a benchmarking test. So we're going to give the LLM access to HubSpot. It's got a ton of really, really messy information in there. So if I go here, I go to deals, Notion team expansion and Stripe enterprise license. There's like information in both of these. So if I click on this and I click on the guy, actually click on this, I want to confirm writing that we've decided to go in a different direction, right? So this one needs to be updated to close lost. And this one, there's an email in there where Claire is excited about it and we've already sent the contract. So it has to do that. Plus in here, there are a handful of, oh my goodness, come on. There's a handful of contacts that have no deals associated with them. So if I go to Dylan Field, who is the CEO of Figma, hopefully they'll do a deal with us. There's this call transcript in there where he's got budget approved. We're scheduling a technical session for next Friday, so it should be like presentation scheduled. So there's 3 that are missing. If I go to my admin dashboard here, and I go to my test, I go to up here and I go to tests. 1 point for updating deals, the LLM should be able to update the Stripe deal to contract sent and the Notion deal to close lost, right? So those are 2 in there. Create 2 new deals, close lost. The LLM needs to be able to create close lost deals for Airtable and Slack. So there's information in there like a call transcript or an email that suggests that they're going to like move in a different direction. Creating new deals for Figma, which I already walked you through. Updating the information. So this is really, really interesting. Each one of the contacts needs to have at least a company name, number of employees, Twitter handle, and job title using the tools, which in this case is Google Search and LinkedIn. And then finding the Twitter handle. So Howie Liu is missing a Twitter handle. Let's walk through the prompt really fast, actually. I'm going to move this over here. And, you can kind of see it's a pretty basic prompt. This is not, you'll be able to see pretty soon on our website, the whole prompt that actually works really, really well. But benchmarking a comprehensive CRM management, you are an agent designed to help me completely manage my CRM for the last 7 days. You got to read all the communications for the deals and make sure that they're up to date from a deal stage perspective, right? So we talked about that. Do the same thing for contacts. Some may have communications, but no deals existing. Ensure all the contacts have complete information. They got to have job title, company name, Twitter username, and number of employees. And then the tools that you have access to. So we're giving it access to a ton of stuff. Searching deals in HubSpot, updating them, creating new ones, contacts, creating new ones, searching them, updating them, getting their communication, so emails and transcripts, notes, getting all the notes, associations, getting the time, searching Google, and getting LinkedIn company data. You can ignore all this. So let's actually see what happens when we type in something super, super basic. Let's select a model from here. We're going to start with a big boy. We're going to start with Opus, because hopefully Opus can actually do it. And you'll be able to see, what happens when everything goes through. So I'm going in here, please update my CRM for the last 7 days. And I'm going to do the exact same thing for each one. So I'm copying this and then I'll hit go. Okay, so you can kind of see here, it's like kind of going through it. It's gotten the timestamp, getting notes, got a good picture. So it's like getting all the associations for all the deals. Let me check all the transactions. They're not associated with deals, which is normal. I've given it like a bunch of things to mess it up, getting communications. And so it's doing all this kind of fun stuff. So it should be going through. And now what it's doing is summary of findings, stage qualified to buy. This is close lost, contract set. So that's correct. So it wants to do that. Contacted no deals. Great. So needs a deal, close lost, close lost. We knew that. Stuart Butterfield, missing. Company, job title, Twitter, number of employees, and Howie Liu is missing Twitter. And so now what it's doing is it wants to update all of the deals, which we're going to let it do. Okay, so it's hit a snag here where it's like given it an improper tool. So let's see what happens there. Okay, so hopefully it fixes itself. Let me fix the contact update for Stuart and create the deals without associations first, then associate them. Nice, it did it. That worked. All right, so it's doing it. Close lost, Stripe enterprise license, contact sent. It's created 3 new deals. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So yeah, this is exactly what I wanted it to do. Company, job title, Twitter handle, number of employees, contact completionist check. Nice, it's got all the rest of them. Pipeline summary, recommended next actions, which is great. So what we can do is we can check to see, we'll see, how many tokens it used and all that kind of stuff. But this is a good idea of something where when it works really, really well. So let's try it. Let's actually check HubSpot really fast. So we're going here. Let's actually go back to deals. Make sure that it actually did it right. Nice. So created a new deal here, Figma enterprise deal, updated this one and created 3 new ones. Awesome. So did that. Go to contacts. Stuart should have some data. Incredible. Yeah. Slack. Good. Phone number. Stuart and number of employees. Sick. Okay. So I assume that it's done it correctly. Let's go back and do something a little bit interesting. Well, Gemini's 3 Flash model has come out and it's a pretty cheap one. So let's see what happens when we give the same information to Gemini 3 Flash. I'm going to go here. I'm going to click on new chat. And then again, I'm going to do the same exact prompt. Oh, actually, I need to update everything. I need to reset everything. All right, cool. Everything's been updated. We're back to brand new stuff. So I'm going to go back here and hit go. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it's starting off well. Searching deals. The thing with Gemini is it doesn't really talk to you as it's going. It doesn't seem to like expose very much information about how it's thinking. It just does the job. And I think it'll fail a few times if I'm correct. Yeah, you can kind of see it's like just doing a ton of stuff, but it's doing it right. Okay, so it wants to update a deal to contract set and one to close lost. Excellent. Nice. Okay, so it wants to make some new deals. Cool. This is going to fail. That's fine. Let's see if it fixes itself. It's because of the deal to contact stuff. It's like making the wrong LM call. That's by design. All right, cool. All right, let's see. Does it do it better this way? Okay, messed it up again. Okay, let's try it again without any associations, which is fine. Okay, great. It did it. All right, so it's done the first 2. But it hasn't told me anything yet. It's not really talking to me. Okay, I ran into an issue with the contacts too. So you can kind of see here when I open it up. It's like it put the number of employees not as a range. So let's see if it fixes that. The thing that it does with Gemini is it's just trying to do way too much. Like it makes all of the API calls at one given point. So it's using up a crap ton of context. Yeah, see, so now it's like working fine. So it's like updating everything. It's doing everything fine, but this one's going to fail because it's like trying to do the deal to contact thing, which is fine. But it uses a ton of context. Okay, yeah, so it's running into some other bugs, but now it tries again. So it's like pretty good at like, so this one should work. Yeah, so there you go. And so it's like working. The issue is that it's just doing all the stuff, right? So here you go. Everything, yeah, so create a new deal, made a close lost, which is fine. Yeah, that's fine. It actually didn't create a new deal for Notion. It just had a deal in there. So it told me the wrong thing, but it still did it fine. So yeah, so it added Howie. It didn't realize that there were already a number of employees thing. So it just made a second one, which is fine. Cool. So this worked. All right. So we've got everything in there. It's done everything correctly. If I go here, kind of see decision maker bought in. Oh, it actually made 2. Okay. All right. So it did everything. All right. So everything got done. It's done everything. It used a ton of context. So I can check to see how much it was. Yeah, it used 363,000 input tokens, basically, because what it did was it kept running just everything. It like made all of the API calls at one time. It made all the API calls at one time, which really sucks. And it basically like blew through a bunch of stuff by trying to make the API calls, using a ton of output tokens to be able to do it. It messes up and it feeds all that data back in as an input token. And so Claude Opus basically like it was a little bit more methodical in doing it rather than throwing the kitchen sink. And so we'll that's kind of annoying. So that was number 2. We've done a big one. We've done a small one. Let's do a really small one. Let's do GPT-5 mini and see how it goes. Actually, let's do GPT-5 nano and see what happens. All right, let's see what happens here. What's interesting here is this is always funny. The system shows a future date, current date, 25/12/30, but that's okay. I can get the current. So it's like trained in the past, so it doesn't realize that like it's not the right date. So yeah, of course, it's like using the current timestamp, which is really funny. So it's like doing its job. Okay, so it's like running the associations and trying to find everything. Let me adjust this a little bit so you guys can see. So it uses a ton of thinking tokens. Okay, so it hasn't actually updated the deals at all yet. It's starting by updating the contacts, and it's gonna fail because like this is a drop down. It's a range, so that's fine. So this is obviously gonna fail. It's fine. It's made the wrong API call, but that's okay. It should, if it's working correctly, it should fix itself. So it's already it's trying to mess up. It's like I want to Stripes staff count of 13,000. It's like not wanting to do, okay. So it's making the deals. It's doing the deals. Okay. Contact update. That's going to fail because it's making the same exact issue, which is okay. So it's updated one deal. So it thinks that it can't find the employee count stuff. So it's thinking, it's like, hey, should I ask him for like admin access or like the ability to do something? And there we go. So here's what I did. So it has updated it to, oh, interesting. So yeah, so it's updated to close law. So it was only able to do one thing. Yeah. So it pulled all the information, which is correct. But then it like did this really ugly data dump, and it isn't smart enough to realize that it's like a drop down quality. So it's trying to do all this stuff, but it wasn't able to actually like do any of it. So that one failed. It is a small model, so I don't think it matters that much. I think that GPT-5, hopefully maybe GPT-5 mini can do it. So let's try that next. All right, so let's come here. Let's change to GPT-5 mini and we'll say the exact same thing. Please update my CRM for the last 7 days. Okay. So it's trying to get all the associations and things for the deal. It's using a bunch of the tools. So it's like grabbing the company get tool. So it's like looking up a company on the internet. Okay, so it's updating this. So great. It's updated it to contact sent. And now this one to close law. So it's done 2 of them correctly. Great. Okay, so it's having a problem with the tools again. So like updating the contacts and doing it as like a range for a number of employees rather than a number. So let's see if it can fix it. Yeah, so, okay, interesting. So it did update the deals. So it was able to update the deals, but it didn't do the right one. I wasn't able to realize, like, it wasn't able to pull an existing contact and get the number of employees for that one, right? So it like thinks, hey, like it doesn't have it, but it doesn't actually check the contact the right way, which sucks. So GPT-5 mini actually messed it up. It wasn't able to actually do it. It did 2 things. It just updated, it only got 1 point because it updated the correct deals, but it didn't do anything else. All right, I'm going to speed through the rest of them just for timing's sake. So let's see what we find. All right, next up, GPT 5.2. So they don't have a 5. We upgraded 5 to 5.2. They don't have 5.2 mini or 5.2 nano yet. So we're just going to do 5.2. Doing the same thing. All right, GPT 5 was able to do everything. So that one's good. That's pretty solid showing. It like made a bunch of mistakes, but I was able to like fix them. So next up, we'll do Gemini 3. Let's go back to Claude, and then we'll do Claude, the sort of Haiku 4.5, and then we'll do Gemini 3 Pro. I really like Haiku as a side note, just because it does the Claude thing where it like talks to you as it keeps going, which is great. It's messing up on the everything here, but that's okay. Okay, so it wants to update this to contract sent, which should work. Okay, so it's found that there's only 2 deals in the system, which is fine. Okay, so it's like making the deals. It's done a pretty decent job, I think. So it's making all the deals. The nice part about it was the thing that I really like about Claude is it tries, when it fixes itself, it tries doing something once and then realizes, okay, like did that work? And then it keeps going, which it is, I think, the best one for tool usage. Like this is a pretty small model and it's doing a really good job so far. Nice. So it did a pretty good job. So it's got the 2 active deals, close lost deals, and it's updated the information. So great job. Honestly, I'm so impressed with Claude Haiku. We actually need to do Sonnet and we need to do Gemini 3 Pro. All right, next up, Sonnet. Same thing. I'm just going to skip to the end on this one because I'm sure I can do it. It's going pretty well so far, actually. So it's making all the deals. It's doing all the things. Nice. So it did it. It's fixed it. Nice. Everything is good. Okay. So it did everything for Stripe. Yep. Made all the new deals, updated all the information here. So we're good. We're good. Nice. So up to last one is Gemini 3 Pro. Okay. So same thing. Please update my CRM for the last 7 days. It's doing the Gemini thing where it just does every single bit of work without absolutely saying anything to you. Interestingly, so far, it has made the fewest number of mistakes with the APIs before going on to the next thing. Okay, so Gemini 3 Pro also did everything. So made these 3 deals, close lost, did this, ensured, I believe, that Stuart Butterfield has all the up-to-date information, which is great. Should be good. Let's see what happens now. We're going to go to our CRM management here. So I'm going to put in all the information and let's see which one wins. So first up, Claude 4.5 Haiku. We were able to do everything. So So it got all the points. All right. So we've got this guy. It was able to do everything, which is pretty sweet. And the number of tokens. So it cost us about 15 cents with the number of tokens that I used, which is pretty good. Next up, let's do 4.5 Opus. These were all able to actually do everything. So the Claude team really actually went through and was able to kind of crush it. Let me update the scores. Okay, so this is really, really interesting. So this Claude Haiku used a ton of context, like basically 2x input what Sonnet did and like 1.5 what Opus did. I don't know why Opus used so much comparatively, but they both used about half of the output tokens because they didn't make as many mistakes on the API calls. So like when they were writing out to the APIs, it didn't make as many mistakes and they didn't have to retry as much. So it's really interesting that Haiku is much cheaper than Sonnet. It's about a third of the price. It's $1 per million input versus $3 per million input. But it comes out as only about like 30% more with the cost versus Opus, which is 3x. So Haiku definitely wins so far. Let's see how the other ones did. So it's interesting. Gemini 3 Flash, so this is 36. It's actually 363,000 input tokens. It used up 3x the input tokens of Gemini 3 Pro. And so it's actually roughly the same cost because Gemini 3 Pro, 9190. Let me see if I can. No. Okay. 90,000 versus 363,000. So it's 3.5x, almost 4x what it is. And honestly, like about 3x on the output token cost because it just keeps making the same mistakes over and over and over again. And so it actually comes out to within a penny of each other, even though the cost difference is pretty big. It's about 4x as much, which is crazy. Okay, now up for GPT-5. Okay, so I actually made an update here where I realized it was GPT-5 and not 5.2, and I realized the thing was done. So GPT-5 Nano wasn't actually able to do anything. I think it's because of how bad the prompt is. I think I'm going to do a video soon trying to like update the prompt and make it a little bit better. On purpose, we tried to have a bad prompt. It used 127,415 input and 15,000. Oh, actually, that's not true. No, it is. 15,000 output tokens. It didn't do anything, but it still cost us 1 cent. Update deals, GPT-5 Mini. This one I had pretty high hopes for, I'd say, but it used 9,500 input tokens and 7,600 output tokens. It's a lot of reasoning. That's where those come from. Used 2 cents, sorry. And then GPT 5.2 was able to do everything, but unfortunately it came out to slightly less expensive than GPT 4.5 Opus because of the reasoning tokens. So it ends up costing quite a lot more, even though the actual price of it is less. And so that's where we're sitting right now. Hopefully this was helpful. If we go in here and we click our leaderboard, yeah, it actually sees, Claude 4.5 Haiku the way it works is like all of these got 5 out of 5, but it then divides it by which one was the cheapest. So 4.5 Haiku, even though Gemini 3 Flash and Pro used a ton of tokens, it's not as expensive. And so they came out second and third, with 4.5 Sonnet, 5.2, and 4.5 Opus, Claude 4.5 Opus, coming in 4, 5, and 6. GPT-5 Mini and GPT-5 Nano weren't able to do it, and so we cut those. Hopefully this was really fun, enjoyable. I'm going to do a later video where I update the prompt and we see how it works. I'm also going to add a lot more benchmarks with similarly like loosey-goosey prompts. But yeah, hopefully that works. Thanks so much for watching.